there. My name is Michelle Mercier, and I'm the CEO and president of the Marlborough Regional Chamber of Commerce. And welcome to another Membership Spotlight video. I'm really excited to be here today with Leia Owen, the owner of Leia Owen Marketing and Business Consulting. So let's welcome her to the show. Leia, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Of course, we're really excited to dive in. So I already know a lot about you. So when I was writing the questions up for this, I was like, well, this is pretty easy, but so many people need to know the breadth of what you do because you do a lot of stuff. But before we jump into that, can you give us a little insight into your background? So like, how did you get to where you are today?
Sure. So officially, I've been doing this for about 10 years. I started as a freelancer offering social media services and content to different local businesses that I knew already. I have family members that have been in business and been entrepreneurs for a long time. So I started with them and their friends in 2015. And I was just gravitating more towards it in the roles that I had. So I worked as a personal trainer and a group fitness instructor. I
didn't know that about you.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I used to do spin, Zumba, all sorts of fun stuff. I was a dance teacher for a long time too. And then I worked in a real estate office and I was doing administration, transaction coordination, and then also their marketing. And then I worked in a cafe and I was doing a little bit of management and team stuff. But each time I just gravitated back towards more of the marketing. Everybody handed over the social media.
Sure.
I said, hey, you have the most experience with it. We don't want to deal with it. Or you're young. You should, take this over, that sort of thing. So I started offering it as a service to other businesses. And it's been really nice to be able to allow the people I work with to get back to what they're passionate about and what they're skilled in.
Right.
This is something that interests me. It's different every day. And it's also a blend of kind of left brain and right brain, I say. So you get the creativity of coming up with content, beautiful photos, making it all look nice, but also the technical part of it and the back end of like, what's the strategy? What is the process? Understanding how all the software works and things like that. So it keeps it interesting for me. And that's something I'm able to provide for businesses so that if you go into business to be a dog walker or an esthetician or, a dance teacher, fitness instructor, you can focus on that. And this is something that I'm able to help with, just like, you outsource bookkeeping often is, finance, taxes, stuff like that. Yeah. HR is a common one. IT. I think we fall in a very similar vein of that where you can focus on what you do and let us handle what we do and what I'm passionate about.
That's so valuable because especially small business owners, they're just wearing so many hats that I hear it often that, oh, my social media, I need to get my social media on point. I need to get that up and going. And I'm like, well, that's a heavier lift than many people expect it to be. I think people underrate, how hard it is.
Sure.
Right?
And I've seen it change. So having now a decade of experience in the industry, it's very interesting to see Facebook pages, what they used to be versus what they are now. And a lot of the roles and the people that I'm working with didn't exist before, right? Yeah. So the rise of influencers and content creators, that wasn't something we were talking about 10 years ago. You could sit down, plan out a month of posts. Here's our menu. Here's what we're doing. Here's a picture of a sandwich and set that up. And I was always trying to stay ahead and schedule things so we had a strategy and a bigger picture, but it has evolved so much. And sometimes you wake up and there's a new feature or something. Yeah. And a lot of the people I work with, it's just not something you want to keep up with. I like learning new things and figuring out how this stuff works. So it's exciting to me when a new feature is released, but for most people, it's overwhelming. And, you go to an event or a networking, event, and you get home and say, oh, I didn't take a picture, or, oh, I got to post about this, but I also have to deal with, my kids, my pets, the rest of the business and, scheduling my staff, all these other things that you're responsible for. So for me, it's fun and I'm happy to provide that for
which makes sense, right? You give it to the person who loves to do it.
Yes.
Right. So that you can focus on your kind of wheelhouse. So your website says that you've worked with well over 100 small business owners since 2015. I would venture that is a lot higher.
Yeah, so that
because I know you and I know what you do.
So, like many business owners, my stuff always comes last because I'm so focused on taking care of my clients and doing stuff for them. So, I tell people that as embarrassing as it is, my website and my social media is actually the worst example of what I can do, and I direct them to my clients to look at the things that I'm putting first, and then I put myself last. So my website's a little out of date. It's due for a refresh, and I've been doing a lot of website work this year, so I'm due to fix mine.
You're doing a good job. I didn't mean
to No, it's me.
I was like, there's no way it's really done. It's 100.
We're up over about 300 at this point, especially the different ways that I work with clients, strategy sessions and consulting.
Yeah. Tell us more about like what exactly. Sure. So what does that look like for you to serve a business owner?
Yeah. So I try to meet people where they are. And it can be, especially with the small businesses and nonprofits that I'm working with, they start small and they gradually add on more as we go. Social media is the primary thing that we do. It's what we're asked for the most often. But I also design websites. I do a lot of event work. So I love working in events and coordinating, promoting, managing all those types of parts of an event and working with vendors, that sort of thing. So those are kind of the three primary things that my team is working on. But really anything that falls under the marketing umbrella for a business, a municipality, a startup, it's all something that if I can't help you, I will bring in somebody that can. I can find somebody. So I say we, so the business is me, and I'm the primary provider of the creative vision and the services. And when you get a caption and a photo, and it's coming from me and I'm putting it all together, but I have a virtual team and then people locally that I work with. So we've got a couple of people spread out that work exclusively remote, and they help me with the scheduling. They help me reply to emails, keep an eye on things. So I'm writing the captions, I'm editing the video. I upload it into we use a ton of software, but I upload it into monday.com, and then they're able to copy and paste what I've given them and implement it so that I can be forward facing with clients and deal with that part of it. But I have a remote team, and then I bring in specialists for projects. So that could be a brand photographer, that could be a graphic designer that does logos, that could be a videographer, especially for events. I try to get as many people walking around as we can.
You do a great job of that.
Thank you. Yeah. Most recently we did the Spirit of Hudson Brewfest. So the Rotary Club manages that event and they do their promotions leading up to it. But then in order to keep managing that event, they bring us in for the day, and we're running around. We're doing live video. We're taking photos. This year we brought a drone. We did some fun,
awesome.
You used to have fun.
That was great.
So we did some fun overhead shots of the whole event, so you could see all the elements of it. So I brought 4 or 5 people with me to run around and get different pieces of it, which was cool. And then I also had some clients participating there too. So a lot of these events, and the longer we're doing this, and the more networking we do, we end up having a lot of clients at one event. So like Hudson Fest, Celebrate Hudson, the Food Truck Festival, the Marlboro Farmers Market, the Pride Festival that last year did. We've got multiple people here participating. So it's nice to be able to say, hey, you're on this type of content with this client. You're over here with this client. Yeah. And that allows us to do.
I mean, and you're locally involved too, and you actually genuinely care about, I know that about you, that you genuinely care about the small businesses in this region. So talk to me a little bit about like your other involvements. I know at HBA, and I knew you were an exhibitor at Pride Fest, different things like that. So talk to me about that.
Yep. So I'm involved. I never slow down. I like to
never. I know.
When I've seen like stickers and signs before that say like it's highly caffeinated and wildly ambitious. Yeah. And I feel like that just kind of personifies
that is very
me.
Much true, yes.
So I'm always running around. You'll see me on different committees and running events. So I'm currently the secretary of the Hudson Business Association. I'm a member of the Marlboro Regional Chamber of Commerce, and I'm the vice chair of the Young Professionals Network for that group that just started. And then I've done some work with the Metro West Women's Network, specifically for women in business. Jenna Beat from Right Jewelry approached me at the beginning of this year to start a lot of work with women businesses in Hudson and surrounding areas. We had vendors pop up from all over. So we did our first International Women's Day event this year.
That was fantastic.
So it was really fun to see all the women-owned businesses come together. We had 42 participating businesses. In 6 weeks, we threw that together, and we'd love to do more things like that. I'm sure I'm forgetting other groups. Oh my goodness. I Celebrate Hudson is a big event that I work on each year. Arts Fest. So that's with the Downtown Hudson Business Improvement District.
You do a ton, and I think that speaks volumes of you, that you're not just like, oh, I'm just going to come in and snap some pictures and be done with it. Like you genuinely are invested. You posted a video, we were talking about it earlier, across the hall where we're shooting right now with Good Work.
Good Company Workspace.
Company, thank you. Good Company Workspace. And you were on top of tables, you were on desks, you were taking pictures because you genuinely care, and they are a fantastic new business, and you genuinely care about their success, which I think speaks volumes of you.
Yeah, I like working with local businesses, mission-driven businesses. So even if it's not necessarily a nonprofit with a specific fundraising goal or a charitable concept, I think a lot of businesses that I work with are adjacent to that, even if they are a for-profit business. So like you've done previous interviews with Renew You Med Spa. They're a member. And they'll talk about how they care about the whole person and wellness from the inside out. And so, but they are a for-profit business, but they also care about their clients. So those are the types of business I love working with. In-Flight Entertainment is another one that it's a performing arts studio. They do aerial arts and acrobatics and cirque. And they're also based in Hudson, and they do events. They popped up out here for different. They were at the Brewfest. But they are not a nonprofit, but they might as well be. They're very mission driven in like teaching arts, bringing arts to the community, helping kids. So those are the type of people
So do you think that sets you apart? Because that was one of my questions. Like, what do you think because there's lots of marketers out there.
Yeah.
Right. So what do you think does set you apart from others? And it can be what you were just talking about or something different.
Sure. There's a lot. Local is definitely a big part of it. So I can work with anybody, anywhere. Really,
of course.
But I really like working in this region and being able to physically be on site. I love to see the business, feel the business, walk around and be part of it and really understand it. So when we start working with someone, actually that first month for longer term contracts, we don't really post. I'm studying the business. I'm learning everything I can about it. I really want to get inside and understand what it's about. And that's fun for me too. So I've worked with glue manufacturing. I've worked with a lot of real estate agents, fitness, and that's stuff that I have experience in, but I love learning new things, automotive, all these different things that I want to study. I also don't work with a lot of people in the same industry at the same time.
Okay.
So I like to, not necessarily work with direct competitors. I want you to have a unique branded, concept and strategy that's special to you. You're not, everybody in the area is not sharing a testimonial on the same day and the same Canva template that everybody's using.
Yes.
So I do like that sets me apart, but it also helps set my clients apart. So they're showing up in the best way.
Well, I think another great aspect of you as well is that you work with, you mentioned it earlier, municipalities, which I don't think, people don't think of things like municipalities, like a city or a town or a school system as needing social media help. But I think they need it sometimes the most. Right?
Yes. Yeah. And that's a trend that we've seen more recently. I think people are coming around to it.
Yeah.
But it's really, at the end of the day, communicating. So it's not about doing TikTok dances and things like that I think people see as superficial. It really is meeting people where they are, which is showing up on their phone where they're scrolling every day and just sharing information. So I've done recent work with local schools and then also health departments.
Yeah.
And we do specific campaigns. So I worked on some substance abuse awareness campaigns and just educating parents, but in a fun way, right? So we had a lot of conversations about it's not like, this is your brain on drugs and just say no.
It's not the old
No. Well, and that's part of the campaign that we did too, was actually explaining why this doesn't work and here's how to have conversations with your kids. So the health department's been a great partner and I look forward to doing more projects with them in the future. And then the schools as well. I'd love to work with more cities and towns, just sharing information. Hey, this road's going to be closed.
Right.
Hey, here's where this meeting is happening. If you're looking for this resource, click this link, follow it here.
Right.
Frequently asked questions. Very similar, websites, right? When they were new, people were not excited to have websites. And then over time, that has evolved a lot. And now, if you don't have a website, how do people find you?
Right. Yeah. I mean, essentially you are online wayfinding, right?
Yes.
For people. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think like social media isn't just like you said, isn't TikTok dances. And yes, it is edutainment, if you want to call it that on some level. But I think, for cities, for towns, for school systems, for groups like that, municipalities, it is a lot more about the education and the communication. That's how people are taking in information. So you need to, like you said earlier, meet them where they're at, right? Yeah. That's awesome. All right. Can you tell people anything else that we might have missed?
Oh gosh.
Well, let's talk a little bit about actually. Let me back that up.
Sure.
Because there's a lot. But what do you think makes you unique, kind of from a business and a personal standpoint? Because you've got you do a lot that's you don't get paid for as well. I know that.
Yeah,
that I think adds to People buy other people. When they sign up as a client, they're buying, you and your personality. So tell us a little bit about what you do in your free time.
Oh, my free time?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay.
In your free time. Like that exists.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy reading. And I would love to work with bookstores too. I love books, authors. And that's something that I've been thinking about recently. But yeah, I love to read. I love to walk my dog. When I'm at work, he's with our friends over at Star Road Pet Sitters. Also, also a member. Oh gosh, but I don't really have a ton of free time. I volunteer with a lot of groups. So performing arts is a big one. My mom manages Meals on Wheels in Marlboro. So helping her out when she needs a driver. I have a flexible schedule. And that's important to me and for my team. Is getting to enjoy all the things in life, but I find it fun to go out to a lot of these events. So I do a lot of cool events. Yeah, well, I do a lot of cool stuff, but my clients do a lot of cool things. So I actually enjoy when I get to go and film a show or go live when there's a band playing downtown. The food truck festival here is a fun event. Yeah. So even if I'm here getting content, I'm also
You're
enjoying
actually
being
having
part of
fun.
it.
I was like, I watched your reels and some of your footage from Brewfest, and I was like, that's a fun game.
Oh, that's one to
cover.
That's an easy day for me to staff.
Yeah.
The other, conferences, webinars, networking events are not always as fun. I have to ask people and, offer a little bit more. Like, not only am I paying my team, but hey, there's food involved, or you can trade this for that. But no, that one's an easy one to staff. And the festivals, and Hudson Fest is a fun day. The Labor Day parade here in Marlboro is a big deal. We've seen that a couple years. So we love stuff like that.
Yes. All right. What are we missing? What else can you tell us about you?
Yeah,
Anything
probably
we forgot?
A lot. So we have a couple of things going on right now that I'd love to let people know about. So one thing that we were talking about earlier, I have capacity for one more large scale client right now. So we are calling it Handled, which is a social media pun. So your username, or when you see @ and then what your account is called, is called a handle. So this Handled plan, we have 2 clients currently. We can take on one more for this, where you sign on for a 12-month contract. So you're signing on for a year, which can start anytime. It doesn't have to be with a fiscal year or anything, unless that's how you operate. But we sign on for 12 months, and we just go all out online. So you're really we're taking up as much digital real estate as possible. So we will, even if we're not planning on managing the account ongoing, posting every day like we would on Facebook or Instagram, we will set up an account for you, build out a profile. So you're showing up on Mastodon, Blue Sky, Threads, Substack, Pinterest, YouTube. Sure. So you have those accounts, and then we can take content that we're putting elsewhere and really multiply it across the board. So meeting people where they are, that's the most robust and the most agile plan we have. So an example I use when I was telling the clients I have about it was Threads. Just kind of popped up out of nowhere.
Yes, it did.
Middle of the summer, and all of a sudden, hey, here's a new
It's a new platform.
Just jump on, and you have to figure that out overnight. The API was not compatible with a lot of pieces. You couldn't really schedule ahead of time. There's a lot to learn very quickly. So something like this Handle plan, we're able to just jump on that right away. We don't have to go through long approval processes. We don't have to go back and requote and say, okay, well, you're paying for this. Let's add this on.
It's all wrapped in.
It's all included. So I'd love to take on one more client for that. We've also been doing a lot more websites this year.
Nice.
And consulting on that too. So even if I'm not designing or managing the website, just updating the copy or changing around some of the images, making sure that's accessible. I've had a lot of conversations about that with clients where
that's a huge one. Accessibility is
right.
huge.
You think about accessibility to a physical space if you have a brick and mortar location, but your website also needs to be accessible. And then I will come in and make edits to websites that have been designed by other people before. And sometimes they don't have a privacy policy or terms and conditions or all these legal requirements that a business owner that is just hiring someone to come in, or has their niece who's in college set it up for them because they need a website. But even people that are paying other agencies to do websites don't have these very essential legal requirements that you need to operate a website. That makes me nervous. So the first thing I do with those clients is immediately take a template I have, update it for them, put that on there. So we're giving pointers and updating websites. My website philosophy is a little different than how other people work. So with the businesses that I work with, you mentioned you're doing a lot of it yourself, right? You're very involved. Even if you don't want to log in to Instagram and reply to comments every day, you're in it. You know what's going on. You're very involved. You're wearing all the hats. So for the websites we use Wix as a platform. It's come a long way.
It has come a long way.
Yeah. So they offer a lot more, we don't use their generic templates. Your website's not going to look like everyone else's website. And they've come a long way with SEO. We do a lot of back end work to help with that. But when it's done, I'm happy to turn it over. Any website client, if they want me to manage it ongoing, I'd love to do that. Update it, write your blog, whatever.
It. Yeah.
Right. So if you have a snow day and you want to put an announcement, if you change your hours, if a staff member changes, you don't have to reach out to us, file a help ticket, wait for us to respond, go through rounds of edits and back and forth, and then get an extra bill. You can just drag, drop what you need to. And I'm happy to consult ongoing or manage it, but it's your business. It's your website. You should have the control over it. And it should be user-friendly for both sides, right? For people coming to your website to learn about you, but also for you day to day. Doing those changes.
Absolutely. Because I think the faster we can do it, because having been a business owner, the faster you can do it yourself, sometimes the better.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, the to-do
especially
list,
small business owners.
It's like whack-a-mole, right? Where you cross something off and 2 more things pop up and you just have to, tackle everything at once. So I really do want to support businesses and nonprofits, and we were talking about municipalities, and they're very similar too, where you have smaller budgets, you have limited resources, and I really want to be cognizant of that and help people. I was talking about my clients that are mission driven, and so am I. I really do want to work with local businesses. We work a lot with women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses. I'd love to work with more veteran-owned businesses. If there's anybody out there, that's something that it's just kind of a goal, and another community that I haven't really connected with yet, but would be happy to support. Yeah,
you'll get there.
Oh gosh, yeah, we've got a lot going on, so I'm not itching for too much, but yes, I'm happy to.
Well, tell people where they can find you on all the different platforms and all the different things.
Yeah, well, we talked about my website, which is due for its own update, but it's my name with my middle initial in it, so it's LeiamOwen.com, and then my email. I'm very accessible via email. That's the best way to get in touch with me.
Great.
Most reliable response you'll get, rather than giving me a call or sending me a text. And then on social media, I'm all over.
Yeah, you are. You have multiple accounts doing multiple things.
Yeah, I did some work this week on getting some more LinkedIn content out for myself. But yes, I have an email list. You'll find me on social media. It's the same handle. You can find me at LeiamOwen. And I'm happy to connect with you there. I'll follow you back. I love shouting out, even people that aren't my clients. You'll see me, hey.
Yeah, you always are. You're always tagging us too. For the chamber. You're always doing a great job of just spreading the love, I think, across the small business community, which is fantastic. Well, Leia, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story and insights. It's very clear to me, I know you personally, but even after this interview, I hope it's clear to those at home too, that you know what you're doing, you are on top of it, and that anyone who needs like a marketing boost should definitely be coming to you, right? So for those of you at home, please help spread the word about this great business, and don't forget to support local. We'll see you next time. Thank you.